Investor's Edge with Gary Kaltbaum. Straight talk about you and your money. Now from the BizTalk studios, here is Gary Kaltbaum.
And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. I'm Gary Kaltbaum, your host. Hey, thanks for being with us today. Glad you're here, ladies and gentlemen. Happy that you are listening. It's Wednesday. It's April 24th. It's 2024. 4/24/24. I just realized that. Hey, hope you're having a good day. In case you don't know, this is serious talk about everything that affects you and your life and your job and your money and the markets and the economy and everything else under the sun. And if you do not get this radio show in your city, we'll post it at GaryK.com. We'll also post it on our Twitter feed, which is now X. We'll also have it on a bunch of podcast apps, yippee-doo. And if you haven't followed us on X, you should go check it out and join in and watch our crazy. And if you'd like to email me, just be nice. We're going to save our fire for a little bit later on what has come out as A, lemmings, and B, coordination. And you know what I mean as around the U.S. in different colleges, the same phrases, the same tense, you name it, coordinated, but also think the word lemmings. I'll go over that later. Now, whatever we say right now about the markets, we're going to get right into it. I will tell you the market just closed, and I will tell you after the close will be Chipotle, IBM, Lam Research, Landstar, Facebook, Meta, which has been gapping up every time they report, O'Reilly Automotives, Raymond James, ServiceNow, Teradyne, United Rentals, very important economic sensitive name, Waste Management, Whirlpool, SEI Corp in the financials, Sallie Mae, this is just after the close, Meritage Homes, Ford after the close. I got to make sure I'm right on that. Ford after the close. So there'll be a lot of jello moving on the plate after the close. So what we're going to do is discuss today and discuss what we think is of import. You got that? Because the Dow was down 42, the S&P was up 1, the NASDAQ was up 16, the NASDAQ 100 was up 55 because of a few big names. Advanced declines, let's call it 1822 on the NASDAQ, 1723 on the New York, whoopee-doo. But the important things, just a lot of jello moving on the plate and a lot of technical thoughts from your handsome and buffed host on this market. So, the best way to explain it is to describe it. That's all. Last week, we had just one of the ugliest drops I have seen in a long time of some leading names. We can start with NVIDIA dropped $84 on Friday. Supermicro dropped how much? $215 on Friday. And of course, none of this started just last week. We have highlighted for you that before March 8th, we had a bunch of software stocks getting into trouble. Then March 8th hit, and I'll describe that for you. The day before I came on the show, and I said to you, we've kind of sort of gone straight up here. And it's feeling like we can get to it. This was the day before March 8th. We may get some sort of exhaustion. And typically an exhaustion would happen with the market sucking in the buyers at the most inopportune time and then reverse. March 8th, we had one of the most vicious reversals we have seen in a very long time in the semiconductors, which for me is the most important group. And we've been telling you that for years. And since it's been, I'm not going to call it rough going, but a lot of wickedness, a lot of drawdowns as we entered earnings season. So we get into earnings season, and we've had some good moves. We've had some big gaps to the upside and big gaps to the downside. And as I just said you got a ton after the close today. I don't see anything really as of yet. I'm about to tell you that in about 3 seconds if anything's reported of note. I got nothing just yet. How's that? SEI Corp reported. That's not going to be a biggie for me. But first and foremost, all the major indices remain below the 50-day moving average, which is now flattening out and in some cases starting to turn down a little bit. That's number one. Okay, I got Facebook reporting, and we're doing this in real time. And I don't know, just so you know, we're going to be on for a bit, but Meta is down $46 in the aftermarket. Not making this up. $493, $450. Oh, man. It's down $50 in the aftermarket. That's certainly not going to help things. But, of course, this can change as we go through. Meta, by the way, we told you we sold our Meta last Friday because it broke below the 50-day moving average. Watch it rally up to in the last couple of days. And now, oh well, we'll see what the numbers are. That'll be of import. What had me going today was onefold. NVIDIA. As we told you, we bought it at 505. We sold some, I think near 700, right before earnings, somewhere in there. And then we sold the rest the day after the big reversal, March 8th. We did not catch the reversal on March 8th because it happened in 2 freaking hours, so quick. Just so you know, on March 8th, 974 was the high on NVIDIA, and the low was 875. I take it back. The low was 865. It closed at 875. Kind of stunning, right? Kind of stunning. NVIDIA went through the motions for a while. NVIDIA broke the 50-day on Friday, and that's just a very important support area, and croaked for $84. In 2 days, it got back. Get this. We're not making this up. In 2 days, the close was 762. It closed at 824 yesterday. It got back $60 to $70 of the drop. $60 to $70 of the drop. And today opened up at 840, which means it would have got back $81 of that. NVIDIA finished down $27 today after opening up hot. And NVIDIA being the number one stock, as far as we're concerned, that'll be something to watch very closely. That's all. Now there's going to be more reports out of semiconductor land. There'll be more effects on semiconductor land. I can promise you companies are going to report things in semiconductor land that may move NVIDIA up or down. But as long as all these stocks are below the 50-day moving average, it's of note. The other thing that happened today, I just want you to listen carefully. Visa, a Dow stock, reports earnings. Had it at 283 early, closed at 275. They distributed the stock. Remember Spotify? Yesterday they gapped it up to 319, closed at 303. It dropped $22 today. A great reaction to earnings gets sold off in Spotify, which, by the way, has been a strong name. The transports. I'll give you the good news. it was only down 358 points today. The bad news? Well, the bad news, it was down 358 points. The good news is it was down 490 at one time, but it was still down 358 points. That shouldn't be. The transports. And we had other gaps today. Boeing gapped up 5, finished down on the day. Finished down 5 on Boeing. Norfolk Southern, a very important rail, down $9 today. And of course, that was part of the trashing in the transports. So just from me to you, I think we got some work to do. Up next, we'll cover a lot more. As the earnings come out, I'm Gary. This is the one and only Investor's Edge.
Hi, I'm Gary Kaltbaum, host of the nationally syndicated radio show Investor's Edge. We're not just handsome radio people. We manage investors' money for a living, specializing in fee-based discretionary money management. No big commissions, just a fee on the assets that's managed. We also provide a full range of personalized services, including retirement planning, fixed income, and educational needs, all to assist you in achieving your financial goals. Understanding not all individuals have the same needs, we'll carefully evaluate your personal goals to determine a proper investment strategy. If your current approach to investing is not getting you to where you would like to be, call us to make an appointment for a complimentary portfolio review. The number to call is 888-422-5559. That's 888-422-5559. That's 888-422-5559. Investment advisory services offered through Kaltbaum Capital Management.
It's time to switch on the integrator units and get the brain cells working.
You're listening to
Hey, this promises to be fun.
Investor's Edge
The last bastion of quality programming.
with Gary Kaltbaum.
It doesn't get better than this.
So we're just letting you know we had this 2-day rally, and let me just state for the record, it was like a jam, and then we opened up hot today, which takes me to Tesla. So as we have told you, no disrespect, but there's only a select few people in my industry that I want to watch, that when they're on TV. I want to see what they have to say if they're on radio. And that would be people like Paul Tudor Jones, Stanley Druckenmiller, George Soros, Tepper, David Tepper. And there's a few others. Used to be Sam Zell. Love that guy. And what he used to have to say on real estate, though he was not, let him rest in peace, but he was not the most popular person on earth in certain circles, especially the newspaper industry. I watched today as there was a lot of talk on Tesla, because let me explain Tesla to you. The stock finished up $17 today, just letting you know, to 162. But we're also letting you know at the start of last week it was 171. It had dropped $25 last week. So to get back 17 is not the greatest thing on earth. Yet I heard people today talk about trends, and now and I'm like, do these people even know what the hell they're talking about? Trends. Tesla has been in a downtrend since July of last year, with a couple little, counter trend moves, but never really changed the playing field. But you can also go back to the highs of November, the first week of November at 414. It closed at 162 today. And I listen to people, and I'm thinking to myself, Did they even do any legwork? Did they even do any homework? Did they even pay attention to what was said? All I kept hearing was Tesla turns the corner only because it was up. And that's stupidity. And of course, and again, we don't name names here. The only name we have named is this Cathie Wood because of her insanity. She's out calling for a $2,000 price target on Tesla when the stock's 162. And by the way, she was given that price target from 400 to 350 to 300 to 250 to 2. You get my point. We're just going to let you know the facts on Tesla. We're just letting you know the facts on Tesla. They reported earnings down 47%. That is followed by a 40% drop and a 37% drop. Let's start with that. Then, revenue growth was down 9% year over year. Then, days to sell a car has gone, and that's a measurement, has gone from 15 days to 28 days with Tesla. So we're letting you know the reason it was up is because it already had a big drop. They came out and stated, we're going to have a low-cost Tesla in the next so-and-so. The problem with that is they've been saying that for a while now, but let's hope they do because I want the stock going up. And he just AI this, AI that, AI, and NVIDIA this, NVIDIA that. And that's what got NVIDIA juiced early today. And NVIDIA just turned right back down. Right back down. So just letting you know, it's our take. It was up because it was down. It was up because he came out and said a low-cost vehicle. That may or may not come, and we hope it does. We hope it does. And AI. The stock is still in a definable downtrend, but gets a little juice today, and maybe it goes higher. It would have to do a crap load more things for us to get to be a little bit, hey, look at Tesla. So just letting you know because you probably heard some of the things I heard today. And it was like, what? Huh? And unfortunately, I don't think a lot of people you get to hear from do their legwork. And it's kind of simple. Just spend time. So, we got some aftermarket going on. Facebook, Meta. $493.50 at the close, down $2.60. It's $442 and change in the aftermarket. Wow. And just so you know, full disclosure, we bought some at $350. We sold some in $480. And we sold some for the rest Friday. And just so you know, we would have been in the stock right now if it stayed above the 50-day moving average. And it didn't. And also that the market got trashed last week. So we lucked out. We'll take luck over skill any day of the week. And I've yet to look at the numbers. What else do I got for you in the aftermarket of note? IBM closed at 184. I got it at 174. That's not going to be of any help. So there's IBM and Meta for starters. How's that? Have I thrilled you yet as we go into tomorrow? Well, the good news is there's a bunch more names. I've got to go through it. I don't know what to tell you. There's a bunch more. And I think we'll just leave it for that second. I'm just happy right now that I don't have the Meta at this moment. And of course, they're going to do a conference call and they'll say this, that, and the other thing. And maybe that changes the playing field. I don't know. I will say also Amazon's down a bunch because of Meta. Google's down a bunch because of Meta. There's the little intertwining there. So We'll see what tomorrow brings. The NASDAQ 100, the QQQ, is down about 0.75% because you got some biggies going on. What else do I got for you? Oh, Chipotle. All I can tell you is every time Chipotle's been reporting it's been gapping up. Let's see what I got for you. Closed at $29.26. So let's call that $29.26. Let's take away the zeros. It's at $3,051. So Chipotle, $29.26, and is right now $30.50. So that's gapping up. Yay! A Chipotle is gapping up. ServiceNow, that's one. Closed at $7.46. Ouch, $7.10 in the aftermarket. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm absolutely not thrilled what I'm seeing in the aftermarket right now. Ford is up a few percent. Up next, we'll see what else we can find. Thanks for being here. I'm Gary. This is the one and only Investor's Edge.
You're listening to
America is talking.
Investor's Edge.
He's got to be pleased with that. The crowd is just on its feet here. He's a Cinderella boy.
With Gary Kaltbaum.
Comes highly recommended. You're going to feel better if you talk to him.
All right. Just so you know, Meta is now down $65 in the aftermarket. Lam Research, I really can't tell. It looks like it's down. And now I'm noticing NVIDIA, which closed at $796, is now $782, down 41 for the day, including the aftermarket. I don't know what the hell's going on. I'm just happy I'm on the outside looking in. And of course, as I said, this can change as we go through all the crap of, you know, the conference calls, the yapping, this, that. I'm looking at Facebook. I'm not seeing anything that just juts out at me that says drop this thing $66 in the aftermarket. And by the way, Amazon is now down 6 for the day. And that's a big 6 for 173. And it was down a couple earlier. Google's down 3 and change. And just there's going to be some sympathy on this tomorrow. I can promise you that. So probably not a very good open tomorrow. Now let me segue, not to the lemmings and what's happening on the college campus, but to Joe Biden. And this has everything to do with you and your money. We're not making this up when we tell you he is proposing an almost 45% long-term capital gains. So let me explain to you the con, and just remember, he's a con artist. And I would say it straight to his face. Trump was the biggest liar of all time. Joe Biden makes Trump look like an angel. Every day, lying out, his whole life is a lie in politics about who he was. He is a Marxist, economic Marxist control freak. And let me explain the con. Simple. Spend the hell out of it. Run deficits way more than ever before. Not a little bit more, but gargantually more than ever before. We're going to be running $3 trillion a year deficits on purpose as he raised all this spending and the payoffs and the giveaways and all that. And what is the con next? The next part of the con is come after the wallets. Just so you know, I want you to Google the words, what are long-term capital gains tax rates right now? And then recognize he's trying to go to 44.7. you will see more than a doubling. And just so you know, the markets, the long-term capital gains is always lower than short-term in order to incentivize hold more than a year. This Marxist control freak is taking that all away now. Oh, at least trying to. The Republicans had better grow a pair and quickly, and they better keep the, if they don't win the White House in November, they had better keep either the House or the Senate so none of this ever gets through. This guy is nuts. He is making, by the way, I say this not pejoratively. I actually mean it. He's making economically the control freaks of all these other countries into sweethearts. The trajectory he has taken, the size and the scope and the reach and the spending of government in vertical. And of course the media just sits there like a bunch of little puppy dogs, not questioning them. And unfortunately, part of my other complaint, I blame the Republicans. How the hell do you let this go through? How do you let this get through? Well, they did. So the scam, the con, makes the guy from FTX, makes Madoff into pikers. $3 trillion a year deficits. Government spending the year before COVID, $4.4 trillion. This guy's going into the mid sevens. And the trajectory is to go to $10 trillion in the next 10 years. And God only knows what the debt and deficit is going to be. And as we have said to you, if the bond market ever wakes up and realizes what the hell's going on, you think 7% mortgages are high? Look out. This man is a nightmare of epic proportions, and it's not getting enough front page headlines. And of course the media never mentions his name on the border, nothing. And of course he has not come out. The Jewish people are like so scared for their lives on campus right now. The president should stand up for the Jewish people. He has his press secretary. He had his deputy press secretary go on. And just so you know, and we'll get into it in a minute, it's all organized. It's all by a bunch of anti-Semitic, Naziist creeps. And he knows it. Just so you know, their intelligence knows it. And what do? They're picking their nose. But the big story, though, is your wallets and your money. This guy is coming after you like you wouldn't believe. The con, spend first, get at the wallets second, and grow the size and the scope and the reach of government beyond the beyond. And I wish I had more power, because I'd get a couple of million of us on the mall in DC and do something about it. And I wish I can turn back the clock. I would have ran. And I would have beaten them all. And I'd be running the show. And I would turn back the country to we the people. We the people. He's killing us. He's killing us. Oh, and by the way, on Trump, you know how he complained about Facebook and Google and all them, and they were in the tank for Biden, which was true? Well, Trump had National Enquirer doing the same thing for Trump. So Trump now has nothing on what was going on for Biden. And that's what we mean when we say to you, they all suck. I have no hope from any of them going forward. And I'm hoping down the line some hero shows up. Hoping down the line a hero shows up. That we are the country, not 535 of them in D.C. and administration. Hope. That's pretty much what I got right now. 45% capital gains long term. Insane. Long-term capital gain, insane. Kicking you in the grapefruits. Every one of you. You might as well bring in Maduro running the country from Venezuela. He's making Bernie Sanders look like Reagan. Notice my anger now. Notice the anger. The choice between the bubonic plague and the Ebola virus stands. I know, Trumpians. I know. Sorry. And that's my take on the capital gains nightmare that hopefully is not coming down the pike. And we're going to try and do our share to shoot it down. And I got to tell you, I know we have a binary choice come November. I think you know where I'm leaning. Nauseatingly leaning. It ain't the Marxist in chief. I can promise you that. Go look it up. Up next, the Lemmings, and whatever else. I'm Gary. This is the one and only Investor's Edge.
You're listening to
What are we waiting for?
Well, what are you waiting for?
1, 2, ready, go.
Action!
Investor's Edge with Gary Kaltbaum.
Okay, a few things in the news. For starters, I mentioned the Biden thing, the Marxist in chief. What a lion creep this guy is. And I have to repeat myself. I know he's the president. I have zero respect. I think his whole life is an absolute lie. He marketed himself as a moderate, and he is left of Bernie Sanders. He's left of the leftists, the biggest leftists on earth. Bernie Sanders once called for a 100% tax rate above $1 million. So I give no quarter. Walmart, in case you don't know, just letting you know, is getting rid of self-checkouts back to traditional lanes. Do you know why? They're tired of the theft. They're starting with a bunch of stores, and then they're going to add theft. Just letting you know. Theft. What else do I got for you? Well, we warned you. Well, we warned California. We warned California people that the Marxist maniacs in California, and by the way, again, control freakism in California. Remember what we tell you about these people. Rules, regulations, fees, fines, mandates, taxes, and giveaways to certain voting blocks. Well, they did not listen to the businesses, and they went to this $20 an hour minimum wage for fast food workers. And that's great for fast food workers if they keep their job and they keep the same hours. Guess what's going on in California right now? Exactly what we told you. Fast food chains in California are replacing staff with digital order kiosks now. One after the other. Employees, have a nice day. They went too far. We warned them. We tried to talk to them. We tried to negotiate with them. We tried to explain to them. And what happened? They gave them the middle finger. The businesses. they did leave some businesses exempt, the ones that give the most money to the governor there. What else is going on? They're cutting hours. A major Burger King franchisee with 140 restaurants is going to have digital kiosks in all of them within 2 months. Until the wage hike, he said he would roll them out in 5 to 10 years. California. Losing jobs and losing hours. The people running that joint are a bunch of schmucks. And speaking of California, by the way, I'm not making this up. Did you know in parts of California, gasoline is $7.29? What? I'm in Florida. I just paid $3.80, I think. $3.79. How is it possible $7.29 in California? How is it possible? Because what do we tell you about Marxist control freaks? Rules, regulations, fees, fine, mandates, and taxes. Big tax in California, huge tax in California. Remember what Reagan says to these people. If it moves, tax it. If it keeps moving, regulate it. If it stops moving, subsidize it. The control freakism of these people. And somehow they keep getting voted away. Again and again and again. And again. In Chicago, they got rid of a maniac mayor and brought in a worse one. What do I mean by maniac? It's simple. You do nothing about crime. That means you screw your citizens, you coddle the criminals. Maniacal. And then let's just end up with what you're seeing on campus. Number one, let's remember again something very important. It is the minority of people. When you see 800 people on campus, they are the minority. That's number one. Number two, a lot of them are being flown in. A lot of them are not students. Number three, this is organized from who knows, and we're going to find out soon enough. How do we know that? The same phrases and the same tense. Go look. These green tents. Same phrases. And of course, you've had the usual miserable Marxist control freaks like AOC saying the protests have been nonviolent. Yeah. There hasn't been any vile verbiage, even though it's all on video for all to see. And then remember, if I was president, this ends quickly because I'd get in front at night in prime time and end it quickly. That's all. There are laws and there are rules. And that's all you have to do. If you are inciting terrorism, goodbye. Case closed. And we're not saying all, but lots are calling death to human beings. Interesting. Just happen to be Jewish human beings. We've already stated all the facts for you. There's no apartheid in Israel. They haven't been in Gaza since 2005. These are facts. Everybody knows them. They were attacked by Hamas. There's still 130 hostages, which, by the way, from Pelosi to Biden, whatever, they don't even bring up the hostages anymore. Who gives a crap about that? And the number one job of a country is to defend itself. Now, I get email from people that actually, and they actually, I don't see them as bad emails, but Gary, don't you think Israel has gone too far? And don't you think they have to think about the politics of this also, and how much and where and all that? And I can't argue somebody thinking that. That is a valid thought process. Wait a minute, we're seeing this and with this destruction, and there are innocents that have passed away in Gaza. But the numbers are lies. But I get it. And I respect all opinions that don't call for the death. We'll have a lot more tomorrow, but just remember, 99.9 some odd percent are not these dolts that wouldn't even know Gaza on a map. You all have a great evening. Drive carefully. Tomorrow should be interesting. Meta's down 65. Yikes. And when you get home, do like we do. Make sure you hug your family. Make sure you hug your children. They will feel better. You'll feel better. I'll be with Varney tomorrow, 10 a.m. Fox Business. Do not miss it. Have a good night. Bye-bye.
This has been Investor's Edge with Gary Kaltbaum on BizTalk. To listen to past episodes or to get in contact with Gary, go to GaryK.com. That's GaryK.com.